Speaking of J.D. Vance, he did a fantastic job making the rounds on the Sunday morning talk shows. You know, to the never-Trumpers and the rhinos and the squishy, weak-kneed people who are saying things like, oh, the Trump campaign is falling apart. Oh, they're not doing it. Really? Did you see J.D. Vance on all the major Sunday morning talk shows yesterday? Here he was over on CNN schooling a hostile Dana Bash.
Governor Walz served 24 years.
Sure.
He even stayed after he could have retired because of 9/11, more than the country asked of him. Do you honor his service?
Well, of course, Dana, I honor his service, and I've never criticized what Tim Walz did when he was in the military. I criticized his retirement decision, and most importantly, Dana, I criticized his lying about his own record, okay? This is a guy who was captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war. This is a guy who's been captured on video. As other people say, he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone. I'm not criticizing Tim Walz's service. I'm criticizing the fact that he lied about his service for political gain, Dana. Now, I served in the United States Marine Corps, and you know this. And look, there are a lot of things that I'm proud about. I've never lied about what I did or overstated it because it would be beneficial to me in an election. I think that's what Tim Walz did. That's what I was criticizing. And yes, I do think it's scandalous behavior.
You didn't lie about your military service because it's a character flaw and a deep deficiency of a person's character to lie about something like serving in the military. It's called stolen valor. And this problem isn't going to go away. I mean, Harris is bad enough. Kamala Harris is awful enough, flip-flopping on all of her positions. Suddenly now she's going to get tough on the ball. What I love about the Kamala Harris campaign promises, such as they are, and you don't know because she won't give an interview, because she's terrified of any reporter, even a CNN reporter, I guess, asking her, well, why haven't you fixed the border by now? You're the vice president of the United States. This is your administration. These economic policies are a result of your administration's policies. You're the number two. You think Americans are stupid enough to sit around and think, oh, well, maybe she'll get around to fixing stuff if we elect her president? She dropped the ball for 4 years as vice president, but as president, she's going to see the light. It's comical. And to watch the media giving her cover is hysterical. I saw some headline, Tim Walz misspoke when he talked about his military ranking as in the National Guard. As J.D. Vance went on to explain to Dana Bash at CNN, Tim Walz didn't misspeak. He lied.
I will say that the Harris-Walz campaign did say that the governor misspoke there.
Sure.
Do you accept that?
He misspoke. Another word is that he lied about it, and he didn't correct the record for 15 years until he was put under political pressure because I called it out, Dana. Whatever you want to call it, a misspeaking or a lie, I think Tim Walz should have to correct the record. Now, you pointed out a soldier who defended his service. There have been a number of soldiers who served with Tim Walz who have criticized him on the exact same grounds that I have because it's not right to misstate or to embellish what you've done, and I think that's what he did.
He was fantastic. So to people who are saying that the Trump campaign is falling apart, you must have been in bed all day yesterday. You must not have watched the influential Sunday morning news shows. You must not be ready for tonight's big conversation between Trump and Elon Musk on X, because he's coming back to X, evidently. There's already a campaign ad. Do you have that ad, Christian, that was posted on X? I don't know X as well as probably many of you know it, but apparently there are things that he's posting on his, because he's got an account with like 90 million followers. He just hasn't used it for the last few years. First he was banned. Jack Dorsey's Twitter banned him. Then Elon Musk came along and unbanned him, but he hasn't come back. He developed Truth Social. He's all over Truth Social. He's on Rumble. He's everywhere else, but he hasn't been on X. Well, now he posted an ad or at least his account posted an ad early this morning suggesting that in anticipation of his conversation with Elon Musk tonight, he's coming back to X. Here was the ad. If you're watching on Salem News Channel, you'll get the visuals. If you're listening on the radio, it comes through loud and clear as well. It's a fantastic ad. And again, this is coming from the Trump account, the pretty dormant Trump account on X that apparently is soon to be revived.
Please welcome President Ronald Reagan, who has a few questions for you.
All of you will go to the polls, will stand there in the polling place and make a decision. I think when you make that decision, it might be well if you would ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? If you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
President Trump. He'll make America great again.
That's part of the campaign that people are suggesting is imploding. It's falling apart. You see, the Trump campaign has a whole lot of avenues and platforms and environments. You're being fed a narrative that isn't true. Other than Rasmussen, as Tara pointed out a few minutes ago, there hasn't been a national poll in 8 days. All the national polling, the Real Clear Politics average shows Trump is winning across the board in all the battleground states. And for people who are going to sit around and scold and lecture Trump, trust his instincts. The guy knows what he's doing. The guy knows what he's doing. Jennifer is in Pennsylvania on the Mike Gallagher Show, 19 before the hour. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
I keep hearing you and Dan Bongino and other talk show hosts say, take 10 people with you to go vote. Here's how you can do it. Nobody has mentioned this on any of the shows I listen to. There is a website called TrumpForce47.com. Go to that website, and it will tell you how you can help. I've been knocking on doors. I'm registering people. We all need to do something. My grandkids' future is at stake here. They will have you download an app called Sidekick.
Right.
It gives you the names of people that you can go visit, and they're all low turnout Republican voters. So
no, I'm looking at the site right now that you mentioned, Jennifer, TrumpForce47.com. It's the official Army volunteer of volunteer neighborhood organizers working together to defeat Kamala Harris and the far-left liberal Democrats. And you're right. There's a targeted voter outreach in your particular neighborhood. You can call targeted voters. You can poll watch, be a Trump captain, host a Trump house party, deliver yard signs. Oh, you're right. That's a great site, Jennifer.
You need to keep hammering it away.
I
and
will.
Mention that site nonstop and tell all the other talk show hosts.
I will. Thank you, Jennifer. I sure will.
Every little bit we do will make a huge difference.
You bet. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it very much. Phil in Richland, Michigan. Hi, Phil.
Hello, Mike.
Hey.
Yes, I was sitting with a Democrat yesterday at a bar, actually, and I said, have you heard that Trump isn't going to tax tips? Never heard of that. They'd never heard of that. This is one of the reasons, now that Kamala comes out, that they'll think it's original from her, I believe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, even the Washington Post headline, which I was kind of surprised because I figured they'd pretend that it's all her. Let me see if I can find it. I want to get the wording right because the Washington Post headline acknowledged it's Trump's idea. I got a big stack here. Adam Radical. Here, of course, I love this headline. Kamala Harris shifts her focus to the border after ignoring it for 4 years. Biden admits he was pushed out of the doggone it. I can't find it. It's jumping. Meet the Press. Okay, I'll go through the stack, but even the mainstream media is having to acknowledge this was Trump's idea. This was totally, I mean, for her to copy this is so bizarre. And look, we're always going to be faced with the challenge of reaching people who have already been brainwashed by the disgusting, despicable mainstream media. They're corrupt. I've got a friend who was texting me over the weekend and said, "Oh, I'm worried about Trump's campaign. I'm worried about him going off message. I'm worried. I want Trump to stop being Trump. He's got to change." And I said, "You're being manipulated by the propagandists who are trying to convince you that Kamala Harris is Abraham Lincoln in a pantsuit." I saw a post on social media on X. It's a parody account, Kamala Harris press release. I love following this site. You should follow it. It's got a bunch of, and by the way, you should follow me at Gallagher Show. I changed my handle and everything. And we got to get above the 60-something thousand followers I have. Come on, we can do at least 100,000. If you follow one person today on X, because tonight's going to be a big night, Trump sitting down with Elon Musk at 8 p.m. Eastern, they're going to break the internet. And Trump is coming back to X. That's the word. I hope it's true. The man's got about 89 million followers already on X, and he hasn't been on forever because they banned him. Remember, under that goofy Jack Dorsey and all the censorship they've been doing? And then Elon Musk comes along and reinstated Trump, which is why they hate Elon Musk. So here's so follow me at Gallagher Show. I'll follow you back. I try to follow everybody back who follows me, unless I think you're a nut. I got my handful of nuts out there that are, circle around. We got some zanies and some crazies in the world. Like the lady who swore that I was talking just to her on commercial breaks. She wrote a letter that said I was whispering to her and she wanted me to stop it. And I told my team, well, let's write her back and tell her, okay, I'll stop. They said, no, don't write her back. Don't engage the crazy. What are you talking about? I said, yeah, but if I write her back and say I'll stop doing it, maybe she'll leave us alone. So I try to follow people back if you seem normal. So follow me at Gallagher Show on X, because it is the way it's supposed to be. Speech is allowed. It's not like the UK, where they're going to put you in jail for your opinions on X. So here's the X account, Kamala Harris press release. I love this. Many of you are living paycheck to paycheck. You can't afford gas. You can't afford groceries. You can't afford a home. That all happened while I was vice president. I actively made inflation worse, and yet you're voting for me because I will fix it. Thank you. Is that not great? I mean, she's only been the vice president for 3.5. This is one of the wildest journeys we've ever been on, to see the anointing of Kamala Harris, who is a national embarrassment. She got 3% of the primary vote in 2020. She's unlikable. She's unpopular. She won't sit down with a single reporter to do a one-on-one because she can't. If she does, they're going to blow her out of the water. What's your policy? If you've got a plan to secure the border, why didn't you while you were the border czar? When you were responsible for the border's wide open. What makes anybody think if we vote for you for president, you're going to change that? That's an easy question. That's a softball, isn't it? What now you're going to give, you want to eliminate taxes on tips? After Trump said that months ago? You went to Las Vegas. Oh, we get it. You went to Vegas and you're pandering to the Las Vegas crowd because of the huge hospitality industry there. Ah, we get it. That makes sense. That makes sense. There's nothing genuine or authentic about the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz campaign. And don't get discouraged. Like I told my friend Tom, knock it off with, oh, I'm worried about Trump. What's he doing? Why is he criticizing Brian Kemp? Why is, I tell you what, Trump's instincts are pretty doggone good. Let me remind you that the Trump-Vance team is currently favored to win the Electoral College vote according to the Real Clear Politics averages. This is from Saturday. The Real Clear Politics electoral map found Trump ahead in 4 key battleground states and beats Vice President Harris. When you listen to her make a stupid promise like no taxes on tips, it was the Biden-Harris administration that introduced a tip reporting program, sicking the IRS on waiters and waitresses in the first place. And now they're sitting around and anointing Kamala Harris. I want you to hear Greg Gutfeld. There was a 2-minute video that I reposted on X over the weekend. It's so good. It's so strong. It was Greg kind of going, this is an off-the-cuff thing. He's not reading a monologue off of a teleprompter like Kamala Harris has to do or Tim Walz has to do. He's just speaking from the heart, and he's describing Donald Trump. So I've got a friend in mind that I want to hear this. My friend who's all squishy now and weak-kneed and worried about the Trump campaign. I mean, we've got this. Would you stop worrying about what the Washington Post is trying to convince you of, that this national embarrassed Kamala Harris, one of the most unpopular vice presidents in the history of America, is suddenly going to beat Trump on November 5th? She's not. We're going to win. And we're going to win with this guy, the guy who got up off the ground and put his fist in the air and said, I'm going to fight for the American people, because that's what he's been doing for 7 years. Despite all the lawfare, despite all the impeachments, despite shooting at him and nearly killing him, this guy is fighting. And here's the way Greg Gutfeld, in a now viral video, described Donald J. Trump on Fox News Channel on Friday.
I want to look at the big picture here, because Harold did bring up, I understand Harold's point about discipline, but you can't expect a political experience from somebody who is never going to be a politician. And Trump is never going to be a politician. He wasn't raised as one. He doesn't act like one. He did a 70-minute relentless question and answer period. What should be gained from that? Like, when you walk away from that, you can go, God, I wish you would rein that in. But the thing is, the one thing that you saw, if let's say with the 5, we have millions of viewers. A lot of them don't like Trump, and a lot of them are Democrats. So they're listening to me tell you why this matters. He's engaged. And that's really necessary right now. All of the pistons are working. He was there for 70 minutes. He answered every question. You can tell that he's going to be like that with everything, because he is. There's not that phony engagement of the establishment politician where they say exactly enough. It's neat and it's tidy, and it's almost impossible to remember what they said after they said it. Politicians are trained to say nothing, you know, and he can't do that. He never got that training. So I think when you're watching vintage Trump, you have to realize that this is how he's going to be in meetings with people who aren't friendly to the United States, or people who want something from America, and we demand scrutiny and reciprocity. So just replace the media with all those people. He's not a figurehead. So if you're looking at him, you're going, I can't stand it. He's not a figurehead. He's an agent. He's your agent. He's America's lawyer. He's in the room there to represent his client, America, your needs and your concerns. He's supposed to be you know, he's not interested in impressing the other people in the room. I want an agent or a lawyer with that relentless energy that makes people upset. And the country needs that. We've had 4 years of perk-hungry elites who are there for the pomp and not for the people. So it's kind of, you have to look at this stuff as a necessity, that this guy is going to be that way in a room with people that have been screwing us over forever. Do you want him or do you want Kamala? Who do you want in that room? You want the guy that nobody likes because they don't like him for a reason.
Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that beautifully put? And again, all off the cuff. He's not reading cue cards or notes or teleprompters. He's speaking from the heart. And that's what I tried to say to this friend of mine who was all worried about Trump attacking Kamala Harris's crowd size and, oh, was it artificial intelligence? Are they inflating the... You suddenly want Trump to be what you want him to be, I said to my friend. He's not going to be what you want him to be. Greg Gutfeld is right. He's not going to be a politician. He's not going to play it safe. He's not going to stay within the guardrails that you want to put around him. Trump is going to be Trump. And if you can look at the image that I'm looking at right now of that cover of the New York Post that I got framed and I have hanging in my studio wall, bloodied but unbowed, ex-president survives assassination bid, Trump shot, and that incredible picture of him with his fist in the air with the bright blue sky and the American flag behind him as the blood is streaming down his face. And you're going to sit here now and lecture him and tell him how to campaign? They tried to kill him. They've tried to put him in jail. They've tried to destroy him financially. They've done everything they can. And now you're going to scold him because of a stupid, a mean tweet about Kamala Harris's crowd? Man up, get stronger, stop being weak-kneed, and stop being manipulated by the vicious, vicious left machine that wants you to be discouraged. Because guess what? We're going to win. We're going to win. And we're going to do it with courage and conviction and faith. And we're going to believe in this guy, and we're going to believe in the Republican Party that is infinitely better than anything that the Democrats have to offer. 1-800-655-MIKE, 18 past the hour. We're in the Relief Factor studios for a Monday, big week, a lot going on, including Trump's sit-down with Elon Musk tonight. Look at that, I'm getting hundreds of followers right now. Follow me at Gallagher Show. Right now, I'll start following you back. Let me get my phone out, and I'll start following you back as furiously as I can. And if I don't get to you, write me a note or post that I didn't follow you yet, and I'll follow you back. Come on, we can get to 100,000, can't we? Because I'm having fun on X. I'll bet you will too if you haven't been there in a while, because it's a lot different under Elon Musk than it was that Jack Dorsey character. At Gallagher Show on X. And my number, 800-655-MIKE. Knock, knock, knock on my door.